Hi, welcome to Urban Insights. I'm Jayashree Kurup. I have with me Dominic Romer. He's the president of CREDAI MCHI, which is the apex body of real estate in the MMR region. Thank you so much for joining us, Dominic. Dominic, let's talk about the Maharashtra market. From COVID onwards, Maharashtra has set so many standards for the rest of the property market in terms of policy, in terms of deliveries, in terms of just the pace at which the property markets are growing. So, just very quickly, tell us what stage are you at in the MMR market, and what are the latest trends that you see?
Good. So let's start from where you started your question regarding COVID. So COVID it was all very dull and null, and people were quite apprehensive whether to invest or whether they could live. So that was one part of it. Thanks to the government of Maharashtra at that time, they had a good catalyst of bringing stamp duty to 3% and giving a 50% rebate to the new approvals to be taken. So a lot of projects which are not feasible at that time, because of this domino effect, added a lot of value to them, and people started moving and started developing things that's where it happened. Second point, which we all have to remember, that entire India, 40% and more comes from MMR itself, not even Maharashtra. The revenue from real estate is around 40% from MMR, is whether it's residential or commercial or anything. So that's the other market. Third, we as an apex body made the government understand कि it's not only you're talking about real estate, but there are almost 260 allied industries which add a lot of value to the chain. And in every way, because of real estate not having an input credit, the government gets his payments in a deferred way, but definitely makes him whatever he's going to leverage a discount so called, which is notional for a temporary part of it. But thereafter, actually, he gets his revenue from different sources. Since there is no input credit, you know that GST is on cement is 28%, on a ready construction area is 18% for services, and more than that, 5% is charged again from the end customer when he sells the flat before OC. And there's a reverse charge mechanism. Certain times the builder pays and he gets 5% more to be paid to the government for the reverse charge mechanism. So this is where the government is not getting a loss, but it's only deferring its payment, which is being paid with dividend in time to come. So that's where the part is, which is at most important. So that's my point of view. And new policies are coming up, as we had a good DPCR 2034. Then we had a unified DCPR for all over Maharashtra, which is a very good thing. And it's very simplified and easy to understand right now, which is 2020. So all this has boosted the part of real estate, made it more simplified. RERA has added a lot of value to it because of the transparency, and lot has been done by Shri Ajay Mehta right now and earlier Gautam Chatterjee. So people's belief in real estate has gone much beyond what it was earlier, because everybody knows what is going to be happening, the methodologies, where the money is getting moving, and all that. So I don't see much of problems right now, Jayashree, because RERA is so well knitted that it's very difficult for somebody to not build and pay the penalty, because the penalty is very high. So that's where I talk about. So these are the catalysts which government of Maharashtra is enforcing on real estate, which is actually giving dividends to the customer and the developer also, I would say, in a way.
What categories of housing are currently working? The prices have gone up over the last 2 to 3 years, and is every category of housing being developed and sold, or do you think that there is a change in the equations now?
So honestly, after COVID, people are looking for larger apartments. So they are looking for a two-bedroom apartment, which actually fits in the category of affordable housing, which is less than 60 square meters. But because Mumbai and MMR being a part of the metro city, we have a restriction of 30 square meters. And more than that, we have a restriction of 45 lakh rupees as a price band. But if you see most of the sales, I think almost if you look at the wagon wheel, 70 plus percent is below 60 square meter, which is selling in Mumbai. And the ultra luxury is doing very well because people have a lot of disposable income, and the markets are supporting it. I mean, the stock market, the uh, bullion market, all these, I think, assets are really doing well. So they are supporting them in case they want to leverage it or sell it or book their profit. All this is a part of that game. But more around Mumbai, 70% what sales you see is below 60 square meters. But government doesn't call it an affordable because of being a metro city. There, the restriction is 30 square meters and 45 lakh rupees is the two restriction. So that's where the point is.
And is 30 square meters, 45 lakh possible in the MMR?
I don't think it's possible because today also what we are building for free for a slum, the prices are much more than 50 lakhs. For Jopdi, you call in Hindi in Mumbai side. For a slum, this is more than 50 lakhs. So honestly, that really doesn't work. But slum redevelopment is doing very well in Mumbai because again, the way the government is moving ahead and encouraging housing for all, for at least because see Mumbai ultimately there is no land available other than the slums, which is almost 45% of Mumbai is under slums. So that's where the development is taking place.
Talk a little bit more about the slum redevelopment. Mumbai's perfected its model. So, what is happening? Which parts of the city are doing well? What about developers? Are all categories of developers entering the redevelopment market?
Yes, they are entering the redevelopment market. Even listed developers are looking, but there's a bit of a play to be done. Certain things come at different surfaces, and the listed entity comes in. Certain builders are doing it from zero, from breaking up the existing slum and then moving on. So a lot of things is being done. There's a lot of collaboration happening, where the expertise of one builder is to vacate the slum, and the other builder is to pay the rent and keep moving and build up the building and get the occupation as fast as possible, and that's how the collaborations are working. So there are different formats which are working, but they are really working well.
Okay. Now, when a redevelopment project happens, it's often on a very large piece of land, and when that happens, you have to rehabilitate the people who were already living in that low-rise apartment, their low-rise stalls, and from there, there is a lot of other redevelopment that happens, like for instance, roads, water, sanitation, lines that were never drawn earlier because it was already occupied. Help me understand that process of how that works so that people could understand when they go for redevelopment projects, what is it that they're looking.
So it's very simple. If you look at just a simple maths, the structure which is 150 square feet or 15 meters germinates into a larger area 70 times more, because it goes up to, depending on 120 meters or is 70 meters more. So basically look at it, 100, that 15 meters can be multiplied by 23 times to get the accommodation done. Out of the 23 times, part of it goes to them, the existing tenement, and part of them goes to get revenue to make good for the doing of the existing tenement, the cost of the. So that's one part of it. Adding to your point, definitely sanitation is a very big boom for them. The privacy for like the Mumbai Ladki is very important because they have their own sanitation and don't need to go into a common place which is not so hygiene and not so safe. So that adds to a lot of value to their life and moral boost, and give them that new thought of having their own safety and everything. Third utmost point is that a lot of these lands are under reservation, which belongs to gardens or belongs to some other things, which we are encumbered. But SRA has a policy, so there is a 35% which is given back to them for the garden purpose or for that particular zone purpose which is accommodated, which adds as a value to the entire organization of the slum developers, and plus it adds value to the city. So what is encumbered gets encumbered free. Instead of 100%, it gets into 35%, 65% is used for development. So, everybody gets a piece of fresh air and fresh dwelling. The whole thing is that.
How much more FAR do you get when you do slum redevelopment in the
So FAR remains the same, Jayashree. It is 1 is to 1, or depending on the ready rate, you get 1 is to 1.1. If the ready rate is, as per the land rate is lesser, you get 1.1 because the incentive needs to be given. Down north, if we see a lot of slums are in Mumbai, they are not practical because the cost of slum is very high. See, you have to understand GST. There are two things. One is government is charging GST on slum. Second, at most important is that you have to pay a rent. The rent you can't pay for 150 square feet because you have to pay a lump sum rent. So around 25,000 is the rent. So if you look at the rent multiplied by the time you do it, it adds to almost 2,000 rupees plus as a part of compensation, displacement compensation. Then there's a compensation which you have to pay the government of Maharashtra's SRA to maintain the house for them. It's 40,000 rupees. So all these things add up to them. Then there are some parking norms for scooters, two wheelers, and some four wheelers also, but more for two wheelers. So this adds up. Plus, there is a space created for them, like a community place where they use it and they can have their own particular activities, society office, all those things come. And they get good clean water. And because of the rainwater harvesting we do, they almost have 24 water hours water for sanitation also, which helps them. And if it's a large slum, then you build an STP, recycle water, all those things happen in time to come. So that adds life to them. Where six people were living in 100 square feet, today are living in 305 square feet. So, that's where the life changes.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the land that is freed after the slum redevelopment. Uh, how does that impact the way the city lives and moves?
So see, I don't think it impact is adds value to it. The point is that what was encumbered with, like we take the simple thing again as a reservation part of it. More, as I said, most of the slums are on government land, which were reserved for something and not got implied because of various reasons. So then you are getting back 35%, which was for the actual use. There's one part. The second part, this adds a lot of job orientation for people who are, now when they have their own permanent interest, that adds a lot of confidence to them for their future growth. Because all of them are learning today, all are getting educated, they are doing very well. But the safety of having their own house and not going through climatic changes like heavy monsoons or bad heat, all those things get nurtured at that level, and that person gets that confidence that he owns a place in Mumbai, which is every Indian's dream to have a house in Mumbai. So that's how it works.
Sure. I was talking about the land that is freed for other development.
The land is freed means 35% goes back to the government for whatever reasons of reservation it is. If suppose it's an RG or that, then 65% is where you have the free sale and the rehab area.
Okay. And how much of that is rehabilitation? How much free sale land do you get out of it?
And 60%. So 40 goes back to rehab and 65% goes to sale. I mean, sorry, that percentage wise.
Okay, okay. What about the climate changes upon us? We can see that the rainfall intensity is more and all that. What are the green initiatives that get imposed on this? And one in terms of policy, two in terms of your voluntary development. Is it there is PDA development, STPs, whatever?
So voluntary, we are doing a lot of things like rainwater harvesting, trying to have motion sensors, trying to put some solar, which is happening, and trying to go for IGBC to apply for a building. Mostly all don't qualify for platinum, but for gold and this for sure it can get qualified. So that is voluntary. But when the area of construction goes beyond 20,000 meters, then all these things become mandatory, where you have to have an STP, where you have to have a solar, where you have to have certain areas which composite garbage is taken care of. So all that becomes voluntary. So green initiative is already on, Jayashree. It's only that not spoken much about it and not highlighted. And there is always a thought process that doing a green initiative is more costlier. It is not. In fact, it's just a myth. I would suggest if somebody works very skillfully and looks at what he does, it is almost just 200 rupees square feet difference. But that again, government like BMC is trying to assure people of less taxation. Though the slum rehabilitation doesn't have a tax, assessment tax, but others, the apartments for sale will have a 5 to 15% depending on the category of rating they will get. So that is paid back by the government by the way of assessment and this. So that is a very important thing. So it's more beneficial to do a green building than not do a green building. That's one part. And certain things are mandatory like rainwater harvesting, segregation of garbage, which is already doing very well in Mumbai, and a lot has come down the intensity. So that's really helping. Water BMC is really good. I think it's better than the mineral water most of the time. So I don't think it's bad. I still drink normal water from BMC. I trust BMC a lot. So it's good. Quality of water.
Okay, when you have a green building and you get a gold or platinum rating, it also means that you must have SOPs in place so that it could continue to remain green, right? How do you ensure that? The asset quality, the asset maintenance?
So I think the most important thing what motivates everyone is money. So when you get a green building, the sale gets faster. and people are interesting you as a brand. So that's the first thing which will make everybody do it. SOPs are in place, so the person understand what he has done earlier. Like when I excavate, I have to keep the boulders aside, so I use it in soling. When I'm doing my plastering, the cement which is got dried, I use it for PCC. So all this recycle method, the rainwater harvesting, getting that, then adding solar, adding motion sensors to the lobby, so getting the right paint, getting the right glass. All these things are an SOP which is more or less standard, because when you're trying to go for an IGBC thing, you have to evaluate your project. So you know where the marks are going to come. It's like a question paper, you know where your evaluation will happen. So you have to evaluate. So where is the point you qualify? Certain points you can't qualify. Like you can't have that much green spaces because your terrace is not that big enough to enjoy it. So you'll have to, go and take an alternating with another electrical company or something like the Adani to buy those points, and he does the green initiative. So those, rather than collaborating with the one person, the person will focus what is in his pyramid. How does he get the 85 plus marks where he qualifies as a platinum rated person? So that's where the difference is.
And how long does that first rating last, and how often does it have to be renewed?
Rating till we hand over to the society is there, and it's a 5 year term, I think so. But that can be renewed because everything is the same. Only society has to keep maintaining the STP, which anyway MPCB takes a check on it. So every 6 months there's a particular form which has to be filled. What are you doing and how much is this thing? All those things are done by the society thereafter.
Okay. Dominic, very quickly, what is happening with the festive season? How do you see the sales velocity, interest of consumers? Any trends that you would like to flag?
So it's very simple. People are motivated with the festive season. You have Ganpati started this, which kicks off the largest celebration where all start mingling and understanding life. And people want to buy on the auspicious day. Today's paper it says that a lot of automobiles, a 5% increase in registrations on the weekend because of Ganpati. The same thing with housing also. People want to enter into their auspicious time, and they want to enjoy the festive part of it, which where they can call and invite friends and families, because everybody has that, not I wouldn't say the spare time, but that emotion of coming on their auspicious day to each other's house and sharing that with their loved one what they have achieved. So a festive thing is a very good thing, and it accelerates sale for sure. People who are waiting for that particular, because there are certain offers which builders offer, like gold coins, pre-registration, pre-stamp duty, something else. All those things come up. So it's like people are more having a choice when it comes in the festive season to get a good bargain, and most of the launches happen at that time. So people also know what is the stock available in that within vicinity which they're looking for, and whether the trusted developer has come up with a right plan, a good apartment which satisfies their need. Festive actually kicks off a lot. It lasts right up till the end of January that I see that season happening, like till Republic Day. Then after again, kids get busy with the examinations and summer vacation and all. But the festive season from September to January is a good month to have.
And vis-a-vis last year, what is the mood of the consumer, of the buyer today?
So the buoyancy in Mumbai is very high. From last year to this year, we are doing very well. I don't have numbers today to tell you the exact number, but definitely the spirits and launches are higher in Mumbai also this time. New RERAs have been applied for, so things will be looking better as a prospect in time to come.
And what is the sweetest spot in the MMR market? What is the
I think anything below 60 square meters, the sweetest spot with affordability is very high, and people are much happy to buy. So it's a two-bedroom, which is quite cozy enough for a large family of four can be accommodated, like husband, wife, and two kids. So that's a good part of it, and the demand is really good in that. The other part is that today, in spite of the RBI having a higher rate of interest, and now the meltdown, if things really work, depending on the inflation of India, the prices coming down, the affordability will again get enhanced of people to afford that loan. So that's another point.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dominic, for joining us. Found this video useful? Please subscribe to this channel for more such videos. Do like and share with as many people as you can.